Maria Elvira Salazar, who was a GOP candidate who ran in Florida's 27th congressional district last year, but lost. She appeared on Fox News on Thursday and just rambled away, speaking absolute nonsense. So at first, she denounced socialism as evil. And this was really a conversation brought forth by the State of the Union address, in which President Trump, had very negative things to say about socialism and said that socialism will never be here in the United States of America. So let's show this clip and then we'll come back and talk about it.
Socialism is one of the most perverse and evil systems that the human race has ever known, besides slavery. So what are you telling me? So when I hear people like Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez saying that we got to create democratic socialism, I mean, democratic socialism, that's a pretty word that they're putting in front of something in socialism, just trying to cover up the miseries and the problems that socialism brings to people.
Maria, 40% of Democrats say that it's a good idea. So what is your message to them? What does socialism really look like?
Listen, they drank the Kool-Aid. And I am not mincing words. I live in Miami, where we have millions and millions of Venezuelans, Cubans, Nicaraguans who escaped that system. The history is right there for you to see.
But what does it look like? Give us
Socialism takes away. I'm going to give you an example. Socialism takes away or destroys the concept that you reap what you sow. It destroys the concept that you are responsible for your actions. It destroys those who want to produce wealth for the benefit of society, takes it away from them, and gives that wealth to those who did not earn it or deserve it.
What is she talking about? Like, I felt like I was watching, like,
Boy.
I
Look
felt
at
like,
here, look at here.
look, I felt like I was, of course they had to get somebody, like, with an Hispanic name. You know,
I believe she's from Cuba, I believe.
So, of course, they had to get somebody to kind of, as a counter, just as a, I guess, who has the same kind of cultural flavor, who has a name with a similar cultural flavor as Ocasio-Cortez. I just felt like I was watching like a dramatic Telemundo soap opera, dog. And then she was like asked, what does socialism look like? Okay, I'm gonna get there. But this is like, before I even get there, before I never go there, I'm just gonna say random shit that doesn't really apply to socialism. And I'm gonna like, I guess, point the finger at countries that aren't socialist to prove how bad socialism is.
You throw a like fancy word on top of it, like democratic, and they drank the Kool-Aid. They drank the Kool-Aid. Look, Ocasio-Cortez, Bernie Sanders, those types of people, are they promoting socialism? Are they promoting
Quite frankly, no.
Socialism?
Quite frankly, no. They're actually not. They're promoting a system that redistributes wealth in a more equal way. But within the system of capitalism.
Within the system of capitalism, right? So democratic socialism, and even if you want to talk about socialist type programs, we have those here in the United States of America. And we've had them so long here in the United States of America. It's like they don't understand that. Or no, they must understand it, but they just don't want to, I guess, admit that reality, because then it would shred their talking point. We have many socialist types of programs. Medicare. We have libraries. We have fire departments. We have public parks. We have bridges and roads. I mean, we have all types of socialist types programs, and it does nothing to crumble capitalism. It does absolutely nothing. The one thing that people are talking about, like your AOC types and Bernie Sanders, is that through this capitalist system that we have, we want to do more to actually help people here.
But what is the precursor to that? Like, it's not just we want to just reallocate certain funds and certain wealth because we just want to.
Right.
It's a response to something, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
They're not just coming out in support of things like the Green New Deal or like Bernie Sanders has been a champion of increasing the minimum wage. Anything like that, access to health care, all of those things are a response. All of those things are a consequence of something.
That's correct.
You see what I'm saying? So it's not like we're talking about democratic socialism from the Ocasio-Cortez sense or the Bernie Sanders sense, as if it's just some sort of new wave that didn't have some sort of catalyst.
Right.
The catalyst is the gap between the upper class and the lower class that continues to increase. And us needing to do something about it. So it's like, if you're not going to address that, if you're not going to address this increasing wealth disparity, then I think poo-pooing on socialism is just a garbage take.
So she goes on, and this time, in this next clip that we're going to show you, she defended the 1% earners in the most ridiculous possible way that you can imagine.
So I'm not saying that we're being cruel. I'm not saying that we got to help people. I'm not saying that everybody deserves health care. But we got to see who is going to pay for it. How is the system going to be able to provide it without taking the incentive from those that produce the wealth to create that wealth in order to give to those people that are in need.
Maria,
Remember that one. Yes, 1% of the country, this country, pays 99% of the taxes. The 1%, the richest people, pay 99% of the taxes. I'm not in that group, and I'm sure probably millions of people that are watching me are not either. But we don't want to change that system, because then otherwise we're going to have a classless society, one society, or one class, the poor one.
This chick said, 1% of our society, the 1% earners, pay 99% of the taxes. And as she said this, the Fox News host didn't even flinch. Didn't even flinch. Now, I will admit that after this segment, when they came back on the air without Salazar, they did admit that she was wrong. They did admit that she was wrong, because she was so over the top wrong that it's mind-boggling.
It's probably hard to jump in there and correct her, because she was kind of going off. For
a little bit of facts to counter her point about the 1%ers that pay 99% of the taxes. Again, that's completely false. So in 2016, the Tax Foundation had a report, and it found that the top 1% of earners paid about $538 billion, and that amounted to about 37.3% of all income taxes. In comparison, the bottom 90% paid about $440 billion, and that came out to about 30.5% of all income taxes. 30.5% of all income taxes for the bottom 90%, and for the top 1%, 37.3%. So yes, they do pay. Yes, they do pay the majority, but it is absolutely nowhere near 99% of all taxes. And should they pay the majority? Of course, they should pay the majority, because first of all, they make the most money. That's first of all, and two, they fight to keep that income gap from shrinking. They lobby Congress to enact measures so that they can keep their riches, and they can continuously keep getting richer and richer while everybody's getting poorer. Yeah, they should pay more.
They should pay
of course, they should pay more.
They benefit from an actual infrastructure more so than poor people.
Yes.
They use more of the infrastructure.
Right. And then if we're talking about, again, like, because this whole conversation is dealing with socialism as well, right? Well, socialism, or socialist type policies. She's like, where is the money going to come from? You know, it's going to come from these job creators. It's going to come from these 1% earners. And we got to really be honest about where the money's coming from. And, you know, like they already pay 99% of the taxes, which is absolutely false. These 1% earners, they also get millions and millions of dollars of corporate welfare too, which costs the country many millions and millions of dollars. Do the bottom 99% get this welfare? No, the welfare that the poorest among us get pales in comparison to the corporate welfare. So again, like, they're making it hand over fist, and because of their money, they have the access to keep things exactly where they are. And then, of course, their taxes are very low. they get this corporate welfare. I mean, it's out of control, the system that we have. And she's really advocating for keeping things the same because fictitiously they take care of us.
It's amazing all the things she pointed out, like, socialism, kind of suggesting that it's a free ride and it kind of like creates this like a laziness. People don't have, I guess, enough drive to be better. She said all kind of shit like that. And if welfare, because that's kind of that's the, I guess, the undertone of it. If if the system being made easier for poorer people and the middle class kind of creates a mindset, a lazy mindset, then what does corporate welfare do? You see what I'm saying? Wouldn't it create the same mindset?
No, it would be much worse since
That's
it's
what I'm saying.
so much more
That's
money
what I'm
involved.
saying. Like, wouldn't it create the same mindset? Whether it be like
times like a billion.
Wouldn't it create the same mindset? People, if people like her are so concerned about what socialism creates or what social welfare creates, then shouldn't they be just as concerned that these corporations get essentially a bigger chunk of that social welfare?